Audubon 2456.
State of the Save is back with part 1 of our Half-Life 2 game club. It's going to be a wonderful episode. We're glad you decided to join us again. I'm Eric. Michael, how you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. So this is half of Half-Life 2.
This is half of Half-Life 2, which would be a quarter of a show, I guess. I don't know. It's late. I'm trying to make a math joke, but it's too late and tired, and I don't know. People are like, man, these assholes trying to do friggin' fractions and shit. Talk about the video game. No, Half-Life 2. We're doing the first part. You should have, if you're playing along, you should have played up through Sand Traps.
Highway 17 to the Sand Traps.
To Sand Traps, yeah. You know, when the title card Sand Traps pops up, that's when you know to stop. If you didn't play along, you're still going to have a great time, so stick with us. Really, really excited about doing this game. This is a game that I looked at my my achievements, I guess was the last time I played this game. And it's been since 2008 was the last time I played this here video game. Now, I think I played through it about 2 or 3 times total in my life. But that was the last time I ever touched this thing.
I last touched this game in 2014, but again, I only played about an hour of it. Because I played a little bit and then went right back to Portal. And then all my achievements, I got 2 Half-Life achievements, and then the rest is Portal achievements.
Yeah, because I imagine you played it off the orange box.
Yes.
Which, was a very, distracting thing to try to stick with one game on there, because not only did you have Portal, you also had Team Fortress 2, which was very, very good, and I love Team Fortress 2. And then you had, of course, Half-Life 2, Episode 1, and Episode 2.
I also got this one pretty late. Again, I got in 2014. So I got when it was on a sale for about $5. So then I just got it to play Portal again. And then I think Portal Still Alive, which was another port of Portal for the 360, specifically the Xbox Live Arcade got released. And I got that one too. So I have like 4 different ways to play Portal. So
I remember buying the orange box on day 1 because it was a hell of a deal for a young man who didn't have a lot of money. But also I was very, very excited about Episode 2 and Episode 1. I hadn't had any experience with those at the time. And Team Fortress 2 I was really excited about. So I got this thing on day 1. And looking back through my achievements, apparently I knocked out pretty much almost everything. There's only a couple of stragglers. And I was thinking about trying to go back through and getting some of them, but some of them are quite difficult. Like in Episode 2, there was a achievement for trying to hold on to a gnome throughout the entire game.
Noam Chomsky.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't have the dedication to go back and do that.
They also had that in the Left 4 Dead 2, I believe.
Yeah,
because we did that achievement. Some person was like, we're going to do Noam Chomsky. I'm like, we're going to what? The what now?
Hold the gnome and run. I remember there was a lot of like early internet videos on like how to wedge the gnome inside the cart so it wouldn't fall out. Because if you have played Episode 2, there's a lot of buggy sequences in Episode 2. And so there was a lot of like wedge them inside the back and try to keep them from falling out and watch them the whole time. Make sure you don't go flying out the back. But it was stuff like that. I always like those kind of achievements. Even if I don't do them, I like the fact that that's like the level of detail in the achievements. I hate generic, just complete the chapters achievements. Like, give me stuff that's actually a little bit off the wall and makes me kind of experiment.
I can't remember the last game I played where the achievement did not pop when the credits started rolling. That's everywhere now.
Yeah,
you can't not do that.
Well, I'm okay with like giving an achievement out for the end of the game.
Yeah, but
I feel like it shouldn't just be. You shouldn't end up with almost all of the achievements by just beating the game.
What's a good number? 50%?
I would say 50% beating the game, 50% more difficult, actually achievement-worthy stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
some games are 33%. Some go all the way to like 75% upon completion of the game.
Yeah, and then it was also a big thing in like the 360 era that if you had a bad game and you wanted to still get people to play it, make it like 1,000 achievements in like 5 minutes. And
Oh,
it's like,
the Avatar: The Last Airbender game.
it's like, man, why is this one game never on GameFly? It's because it's the achievement game. We've got a waiting list the size of Wyoming. No, but I like my achievements to be difficult. The game that's done it the most recently is Elden Ring. Does a good job of tying most of its achievements to bosses. So, and like major bosses. So I always like that because I feel like, oh, I actually fought something difficult and completed something and got the achievement.
My first achievement didn't pop until about 12 hours into that thing.
Yeah, because it took me till I beat Margaret. I got to the round table, I think is the first achievement I got.
Yeah.
But yeah, Margaret is like your first real achievement.
Then Godric after that.
Yeah, and then Godric. And some of the bonus bosses also have achievements tied to them.
Yeah. Like completing quest lines.
Yeah. I like that game's dedication to be like, hey man, this is a tough game, so these achievements are worth something. You want this 30 points? Beat a boss. Mm-hmm. So let's do our normal thing. Let's talk about some video games and just stuff going on. Michael, what have you been playing?
I haven't been playing so much. I was on vacation for the past week.
Okay.
But I
act like I didn't know that. Like I'm like, oh really? How was your vacation? Like I don't know you were on vacation.
But so a couple things I want to talk about. The first is that I finally did it. I finally got my wife to get really into Animal Crossing to where she'll nearly play it on an everyday basis. It was a long, slow process, but even like when we got on the plane, before then she was like, I know you brought your Switch. Can I play it on the plane? I went, absolutely.
It's like, no.
Sure, I'll just download an hour-long movie, Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Here we go. Enjoy me peering over your shoulder and watching you talk to all your villagers and you go fossil hunting.
It's always interesting to see what games get people. Mm-hmm. Like that game kind of makes sense, like just as someone who knows your wife. But like the last video game that connected at all with my wife was the Donut County thing that me and my kids went through.
That was also one that I got. Yeah.
It's like just some games are universal. You don't have to be, quote unquote video game enthusiast. You notice I did not use the word that I hate to care about them. Some games are just universal. They grab you no matter where you are in life. I'm glad that she's enjoying that.
Yeah, sometimes she'll be like, I don't feel like playing, but can you play as my character and I'll tell you what to do? I'm like, yeah, fine, that's cool.
Run these errands for me.
Basically, I don't mind. I'm just like walking around, just finding like a game that like brings us together in a way.
It becomes more of a shared experience. It's like when you find a movie or a TV show. Like my wife and me don't have a lot of interest in the same general media, like I my like favorite things, like she doesn't give a shit about like Warhammer and wrestling and stuff like that, but then we find little things that we connect on, like we watch like the Jersey Shore family reunion show as like people are like, why are you watching this? It's because it's just a fun thing for the two of us to sit down and have these shared conversations about. I think like if you are in a marriage for a long time, you learn that you need to find little things to connect on and little moments that just build some mutual enjoyment of things.
And sometimes it's as like Animal Crossing, and sometimes it's like 911 Lone Star.
it's like why are we watching this? I don't know, but we both enjoy it.
I said we both agree this is trash, but we can't stop watching it.
Usually trash is the best thing to bond over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm okay admitting it. I've watched every episode of the Jersey Shore. I could do that. You want to talk about the situation? I'll talk about Mike the situation.
I'm about to say, are we gonna have an Elbow and Costello bit? It's like, what situation? You're like, these situations.
These situations. Who's on first? Anything else other than the Animal Crossing?
Yes, I had accumulated a bunch of gift cards over the past little bit. So spring sales and sales of a bunch of different system varieties have popped up. One of the gift cards I got was through an app called Hero Trainer, which will count your steps and convert it into Aura, which after you save up enough, you can use it, and after a few months of walking, you can cash it in for a $10 gift card.
Huh.
And timing lined up in a way where, so the Nintendo eShop for the Wii U and the 3DS is closing down at the beginning of next year.
Yes.
So there is a lot of games that are sitting there that are about to be lost, and then expensive games that are expensive already are going to be more expensive when that shuts down. So there was a game I've been eyeing for a while that got down to $10, so I cashed in my steps to get this game. I'm only going to talk about this once.
Okay.
Persona Q2, the new cinema Labyrinth.
Do we need to bust out
acquired.
Do we need to bust out the Persona rule, which is 5 minutes?
I'm not going to talk a lot about this game. I only played a little bit so far, but that was one I needed because it is the spin-off game that that's a crossover between 3, 4, and 5. Is the one that introduces the 5 crew.
Okay.
Which is 4 and 5 are my favorite, are the only ones I played. I don't know which one I like more, but the 5 is more recent in my head. That soundtrack slaps.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like the origins for your favorite team.
Not necessarily the origins, it's just a spin-off.
But it's but you said it's the introduction
of them into the Persona Q2.
Oh, okay.
It introduces them as in into the spin-off series of dungeon crawlers where you whereas all your characters meeting up in their universes coming together, and then they have to solve a mystery. Is there's a movie theater, there's a haunted movie theater in this metaverse happening. What do we do?
So it's basically the crossover episode equivalent. Okay.
What crossover equivalent dungeon crawlers with excellent music. I liked all of those battle themes when we categorized them on our ranking of the Persona music.
Yes, if you would like to go back, there's a file corrupted in which we ranked all the battle themes of the Persona series. It's like a radio show. We did a radio show, basically.
So that's a game I will never bring up again because it will involve knowledge of the Persona series for me to really get into about 4 and 5. So if you want a detailed review of Persona Q2, I am not the person to do so. I'm just here I just bought it for $10 because I don't want to pay $50 for that right now, or probably $100 whenever the eShop closes, and that's the only way to get it.
That is a good point, that when that eShop closes, physical copies of things is going to go through the roof.
My goal is for this next year is I have notifications on for a 3DS deal subreddit, and everything I have a passing interest in, I'm going to acquire, because that is going to be a problem in the future. I had a passing interest in Q2, so I'm just going to grab it, so that way it's secure, so I never have to go out and seek a copy of that.
You don't have to go off and pay $100 for a physical release, because God knows it's going to go through the roof.
It's going to be bad.
All collectibles are getting like that, where things are just getting insane prices. As a long-term comic guy who's been in the comics for a little while, the prices on comics now are insane.
Oh yeah.
So it's I feel like games is going right hand in hand, where it's just come on guys, we all know it's not worth this. Who's the asshole that ran up the price on the eBay? Anything else?
Speaking of sales, PlayStation Spring Sale is going on right now, and I had my eye on a game for a while where even my coworkers are you would love this game. Hot Wheels Unleashed.
I remember when that was shown at E3. You were actually very high on it. You were I am super excited about this. And it seems like it's lived up to your expectations.
Yes, it is really fast paced. It is baked in so much 90s and early 2000s Hot Wheels nostalgia.
Yeah.
To where it is a racing game. It's a very arcadey racing game. There's drifts, there's boosts, there's drifting to gain boost. And there's a track editor. There is my favorite part of the game so far is you can paint vehicles.
Yeah, you showed me a cool Lord of the Rings one.
It's Gandalf saying "You shall not pass" while flipping the bird. I don't know how that got past the guidelines, but I downloaded it, so now my bus has Gandalf flipping the bird saying "You shall not pass."
It's a very good. It's a good paint job too. It looks good.
It reminds me of the Black Ops 2 emblem system where people could just make anything on things. They give you enough shapes to where you can go absolutely crazy with that.
But then they just made a racist shit. Like the Black Ops one was just full of Nazi stuff. And it was like, oh no.
I'll
Like
have you know, while digging through a lot of the cars, I only saw a couple racist things. So
Okay, yeah.
improvement.
Good on them for only having a couple of racist things. The Black Ops like emblem system was basically just non-stop horrible shit. No, I am glad that you are enjoying that game. That is a game that seems to be of a high quality, like higher quality than you think it would even need to be.
Yes, the detail on the cars is incredible. The ray tracing looks beautiful reflected off of them to the point where they look like real plastic cars. And even when cars flip over, they have all the detailings, like all of like the notices and like the Hot Wheels like emblem on the bottom.
Yeah.
From like the embezzled undercarriage of the car. All of that is like
I imagine
handcrafted in a way.
I imagine if you're like a super Hot Wheels guy, like, you know, there are a lot of people collect Hot Wheels and stuff. I imagine that's got to be like Christmas. To have like such a detailed, because you know that there's all these cars that average person probably couldn't afford because they're like because they're collectibles.
Yeah.
And they're like comics and video games. They've gone up through the roof, and to be able to still like look at them and drive them around. Yeah, it's got to be as like a Hot Wheels collector. Got to be like a wet dream.
I have a few Hot Wheels cars. I have a from the DC Sketch series, Joker Mustang GT. I acquired a Mustang GT in the game, so now I'm painting my car to look just like that. It's a long process to get that like sketch detail, but it's coming along well. I'm also going to show Eric right now. This won't play on audio. One of the cars I grabbed.
Oh, that's
an official
cool.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles party wagon.
That's really cool.
That they have licensed stuff like that. I have one of Snoopy. His doghouse with him riding on the top like he's fighting the Red Baron. That's
the stuff that's so cool. Like I look at like the games, like they made like a G.I. Joe game recently, and I'm like, why don't you do something similar with like this or Transformers, where it's just basically an excuse to have all the cool looking different figures and make it more of like a fan nostalgia thing than just a generic art style. I feel like this is really cool, I imagine. If you are super into Hot Wheels, this has to be like a wet dream.
Not even Hot Wheels. I would say if you're a fan of like a breed of arcade racer that they don't really make anymore. If you like swerves and loop-de-loops and metallic tracks that'll have you go upside down. Yeah, this is the game for you.
Does this fit your F-Zero fan?
This does.
Oh, yes.
People have even made custom tracks that are replicas of the F-Zero GX tracks.
That's awesome.
There is one fatal flaw.
Okay.
Like, that is frustrating. And it's the track editor. The track editor is great. The problem is you cannot race AI racers on downloaded tracks. You can only race them online or in split screen. Which is a travesty. Like, it's depressing.
Especially because I don't know. I hope this game has a community that sticks with it. But if it doesn't, it takes away the ability to like just make your own fun tracks or go do all those cool custom tracks without having to get together a whole game.
But I haven't had trouble finding games, maybe because it's on sale, but everybody I seem to be playing online with seems to be having a ton of fun because you can check their profile and check their campaign progress. And half the people are like brand new like me, and the other half are people who have 100% of the campaign.
So, well, it's good though. It shows that
there's a season pass right now that is all DC vehicles. So like you can as you rank up that battle pass, I've unlocked an Aquaman vehicle, and because I had some more gift card money, so I bought the battle pass. Yeah. Because it's all DC themed now. Yeah. So like you can customize the entire basement level. With like, so you can go detail on like the walls you want, what arcade cabinets you want in this like basement level, and so now I have like a wall that's like a mural dedicated to like the Flash and Nightwing on one of the walls, and I'm like, this is just—it's
a nostalgia trip.
It's a great nostalgia trip game,
but like I'm not saying that as like a undercutting it.
No, absolutely,
it's a game that's like, hey, we know that this is playing off of your emotions, but it does it well.
Because that could backfire really well. Look at like the latest like toy soldier game that came out where they had all that license deals, but it didn't play well. some people were let down even though they had like the G.I. Joe license.
Well, I'll talk about the G.I. Joe game that came out. There was a very generic third-person shooter that was just
from the makers of Big Rigs.
Yeah, and it was just nothing. And it's like in the year 2000, I think that came out in 21. In the year 2021, you have the G.I. Joe's license. You can't come up with something more better than just a generic, run around third-person shooter, plays like Battlefield 2 on the PlayStation 2. It just feels like it just lacks creativity. I'll tell you right now, if you would have done something like that where it's like, no, you play as the original G.I. Joe figures and all the battlefields look like a play sets and stuff, dude, that would have been a ball. But blowing that, it's just,
So is nostalgia being a double-edged sword? I think
you can't rely on nostalgia to bring the game home, but you can play heavily off. You
start with the gameplay and then you build up the nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly.
And the gameplay here is really good. I'm going to play a ton more of this game.
I'm glad you enjoyed that. That's a game that I hope nothing but success on, because it's not like a big, it's not Game of the Year release, but it's one of those things that if you give it a shot, I imagine most people would have some fun with it.
It was on my wish list, and every time a sale would go, I would check that game, and it was like, is the needle like low enough to where I want this? And $25 was the one. I'm like, hit the button.
It's like,
get it.
We've hit the point, boys. Anything else you've been playing?
That's it for me.
Okay, so I have downloaded Crusader Kings 3 and Weird West.
I have Weird West downloaded. I can't download Crusader Kings 3 on an Xbox One. That's a Series X only game.
Yeah, I've got both of them. I have not played enough of them to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of trying to buy a house. Life sucks. So I'm going to take my time. Surprise, motherfuckers. It's WrestleMania season. And it's also the release of the Halo show. And you say, but Eric, you said you were going to do a File Corrupted series on the Halo show. Also, surprise! That show's not going to get one. And we're going to talk about that now. But first, WrestleMania happened. WrestleMania. It was a 2-part night. Surprisingly, usually I come on here and I just bash the WWE and I just play my AEW fandom all over the place. This was actually a really good WrestleMania.
I saw a bunch of stuff floating around social media, and all the stuff I seen was surprisingly positive.
So let's do Eric's top 5 of WrestleMania. Are you ready?
Let's do this.
Okay, number 5. We have found what Logan Paul is good at. All these years we said, this Logan Paul guy, what's he good at? What's he good for? Logan Paul is apparently actually a pretty damn good professional wrestler.
Not Japanese travel videos?
No, they're terrible. He's bad at that. Not being inside malls looting during the middle of protests. I think it was him or his brother. I don't remember. I get him and his brother confused constantly.
I don't care enough to distinguish
them.
Not
fixing boxing fights. Here's the thing. All those boxing fights that he's fought that are fixed, and clearly fixed, has made him a damn good professional wrestler. He came out wearing the world's most expensive Pokemon card around his neck, and he played it straight. They announced it. They're like, as you can see, he's wearing a limited edition Japanese bronze Charizard figure that just went to auction and got millions of dollars worth, and he's wearing it around his neck. If you would have asked, if you were from another planet and you watched Rey Mysterio, his son Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul, and I said to you, pick the guy who's not a professional wrestler, you would have picked The Miz. You wouldn't have picked Logan Paul. He wrestled like a motherfucker. Not only was his spots really good, but he was a showboaty, terrible heel, made you hate him. He used Eddie Guerrero's move on Dominic. It was a damn good showing by Logan Paul. And it looks like the story's not over because The Miz turns on him. And, of course, that would make The Miz... everyone's booing Logan Paul like crazy. And then The Miz turns on him, and they keep booing Logan Paul. It doesn't get any heat on The Miz. They're like, good. Fuck that guy. But he is a great heel. I would be okay, believe it or not, with Logan Paul showing back up in the WWE. Number 4.
Okay.
Number 4. Drew McIntyre cut the ropes to the ring with his sword.
That's number one in my book.
He has been carrying around this sword for like a year, and he's never actually hit anybody with it. Well, he didn't hit anybody with it, but he cut 2 ring ropes with it. And I was like, cool, he finally used that thing. He is also the first man to ever kick out of the End of Days finishing move by Baron Corbin. No one has ever kicked out of that move. He kicked out of it, which should have been a bigger deal. I was like, oh shit, he kicked out of End of Days. And everyone else is like, oh, he's kicked out of Baron Corbin's move. I'm like, nah, this should have been a big deal. Number 3, let's get into actually like good wrestling matches. Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. This is a story that's been going on since SummerSlam when Becky came back. This was it was a great match that moved so damn fast. They just walked their asses off. Becky is she's my top favorite female wrestler, but she's also in my top 5 professional wrestlers in general. She just is a wonderful worker, and she thrives on like this level of storytelling. She has also got the Paramore haircut, as my wife says. She looks like she's trying to impersonate Hayley Williams of Paramore now. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
The Becky Lynch's style and in-ring attire has been top notch this year. But this match is great. Really good, solid, lots of callbacks to moments throughout this year between the two of them. Bianca Belair goes over, wins the Raw Women's title, and definitely deserves it. She's a great talent. It was a great moment for her. I hope they continue to give her high-quality feuds. Becky's going to be fine. I'm sure she's got a story beat coming up that's going to be great. These two women are top of their game. It was good to see this. This was a great match.
That's awesome.
Number 2, Cody Rhodes.
He's finally there.
Yes.
I think you said was it a File Corrupted show weeks ago that you're like, man, I hope he comes back?
No, he's a traitor, but no, I have issues with Cody probably the way he left. But no, he comes in as he is in AEW. He has a great moment arriving, and he does a great match with Seth Rollins. A very good, solid professional wrestling match. Just a great job all around. And it was a good moment for him. Wins with 3 crossroads to beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You were dreading that.
Yes. I was afraid that he was gonna come out, do a talk show segment. It was just gonna be lame, and it wasn't gonna be worth Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back for WrestleMania. This motherfucker comes out. And they blew the advertising to this so bad. The whole time they're like, he's going to be on the KO show, which is a talk show that Kevin Owens does. They should have just been like, Steve Austin's going to do his last match of his career. They would have sold millions of tickets. People would have come from all over the place, but they blew that. But instead, he comes out in the talk show. Steve Austin goes, you think I'm going to come all the way out here? We're doing a match. Holy shit, we're getting a Stone Cold match. First one in like 19 years. Stone Cold.
Is he? Well,
he is almost 60 years old.
Was he physically capable? I thought the man had a neck injury.
He had a broken neck. That's one of the reasons why he stopped wrestling. This man is not like The Undertaker, who showed up every year and did at least a match. No, this man has not been in a ring, done a match. He's done some stunners on people. He's never been and done a full match. I was terrified for this man. He is almost 60 years old. But Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, constant professional. This match was great. It was a no disqualification. No, it was a brawl match. I was like, man, it's just Stone Cold's going to beat the fire out of him. He was walking really, really safe, which I was okay with. I don't want to see Stone Cold get hurt.
Be careful.
But then they go to the outside.
Oh, no.
And they're brawling. Stone Cold takes a delayed vertical suplex onto the concrete. Then he gives out a couple of suplexes on the ramp. And I'm like, this motherfucker didn't take any bumps in the ring. But he takes all the bumps on the concrete. I'm like, Stone Cold, why? But it is a great match. Kicks out of Kevin Owens' stunner attempt. Kevin Owens grabs a chair. Stone Cold hits him with a stunner. Pins him. 1, 2, 3. WrestleMania moment. It was great. All of this happens on night one. Night one of WrestleMania was great. There was a couple of things that wasn't super great. Too many video packages, stuff like that. Night one, though, was stellar. Night two was not bad. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar probably should be in my top 5. It was the match that it was built up to be.
The only thing I saw from that was Brock Lesnar in a cowboy hat looking happy.
Lesnar has been great since he's been a face and been WWE champion. This match was great, though. It was a very reminiscent of Brock Lesnar's match with Drew McIntyre back in 2020. It was a finish, big move match, but that's the way it should be. You don't need to do 10 minutes of heat with this kind of match. It needs to be all the big moves. Roman pins Brock Lesnar. The only man who you can build up to take Roman down now has to be Drew, unless they try to do Cody. But I would even have a hard time with Cody. It got to be Drew got to be the man to eventually take him down. But Roman Reigns, I am a huge AEW mark, but Roman Reigns has been consistently one of the greatest things in professional wrestling. It was a great night. Also, Jackass alumni Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn was a fucking ball. They used.
That sounds wild.
Wee Man showed up and got kicked so hard in the face. I thought he killed Wee Man. There was taser. There was fireworks. There was the big hand slap thing that came out of nowhere. It hit Sami Zayn. It was a ball. This was a very sports entertainment heavy WrestleMania. Vince McMahon showed up and did a match. He fucking sucks because he's a 90-year-old man. Pat McAfee continues to actually be really good at wrestling apparently. But other than the Becky match, the Cody Seth, and then the Brock Roman, it wasn't a show for like great wrestling. If you wanted great wrestling, Ring of Honor did a supercard this weekend that was full of great wrestling. This was a big sports entertainment, but it was done well. I had a ball. It was the first WrestleMania I've enjoyed in a very, very long time.
That's awesome.
So it was great. In short, the Halo show. Michael, I was very sick for about 2 weeks. I had multiple things. I was screwed up. Halo first episode comes on. I was at home sick from work, so I gotta give it a shot, man. So I watched it. The Halo show makes the greatest sin of all shows. That it's not even that it's so. I'm not so angry and like mad about it that I can do a massive rant on it. It just wasn't anything shocking and special. It felt like they wanted to do a generic science fiction show, and they just slapped Halo on top of it. I'll do 3 quick good things and 3 quick bad things. The 3 quote-unquote good things, and these are all kind of weird. There was some good stuff with like how they depict like the Covenant weapons. There was some fine battle scenes at the beginning. They definitely they spent $10 million an episode on this thing. You can tell. The 3 bad things though are the big like crimes. I'm not gonna get into like the way the special effects look or anything like that.
It's television. It's not.
Yeah,
movie.
it's not.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm not gonna like. That's not the problem.
Yeah.
You can have a badly like effects show and still have a good story.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest problems is one, we feel like we're rushing to something. Master Chief shows up. We see Master Chief do a mission, and then Master Chief goes rogue from the UNSC in the first episode. So it's like, how have
that
we...
should be a season finale.
Exactly. How have we established any of this man's relationship to the ward he lives in if he goes rogue in the first episode over a teenage girl in which the show establishes he has killed thousands of people? You know?
Is this set, like, before
it looks to be a heavily modified retelling of the story of the first game by not touching much of it. Like, Reach still exists when they find the map to the first Halo ring and all that. It's basically it's Halo in name only in a lot of ways.
Gotcha.
2, we gotta talk about it. The removal of the helmet. Is it dumb? Yes. Also, what's the worst thing? It's just out of nowhere in the very first episode. It goes back to why do I care? And then the third part is that it just feels like if you're going to tell this story but not actually use any of the beats, then why didn't you just make your own science fiction universe or whatever? It feels very much like we needed people to watch this thing, so we stuck Halo on it and threw a little bit of Halo stuff here and there. Like, hey, hear that? That's the sound of the shields recharging. Oh, cool, but I still don't give a damn about anybody in this.
That's really...
I am going to stick with the show long enough just to confirm if I want this show to turn it around.
At the same
There
time,
has been shows,
pilots are hard.
I would talk about a show I ended up liking a lot that I was like big on wishing they never canceled, which was the sci-fi show The Constantine. The first like Constantine show that he eventually, the guy who played John Constantine came back in like the DC TV stuff. But he had the Constantine show. The pilot was horrible. But then it got really good. And I feel like a lot of people got lost from the show because of the pilot. But it really improved.
Wasn't that one where they didn't play the pilot first? They played a different episode
They played
first.
the first, but yeah, they played it out of order. I think the first, second, and third episodes were all mixed. It was really weird. And it ended on a big cliffhanger that will never be resolved. But, yeah, I'm going to stick with Halo. We are probably not going to do a File Corrupted on it. I might jump in with updates here and there. But we will be doing a File Corrupted on Moon Knight.
Moon Knight is so good. You haven't watched it yet.
No, I have not, but I will. Moon Knight is me and Michael's favorite superhero.
Yep.
So y'all are going to have to listen to a File Corrupted about the Moon Knight show. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about.
Yes.
I done snuck in my Wrestlemania freaking talk. So it's time to talk about what we're here to talk about. Half-Life 2.
Yes.
I talked about some of my experience with Half-Life 2. Michael, you have a significantly less experience.
Yes.
One thing that, let's go ahead and we are jumping into the second game of a series. I know that can be kind of confusing. One thing I did tell you is that this is a kind of a cold opening where Gordon's kind of also a stranger in a place that he's not familiar with. He's been kind of displaced in time and showed up here also confused. So you're not as behind on the story as you might
as I
think
I
you
am.
are.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some things that you might not like as a Half-Life player, like when you see the Vertigons, the guys with the
yes.
aliens with the eyes.
I was like, wait, what? Who are they?
They are enemies in Half-Life 1.
Oh.
So like if you had played the first game, you're like, why are these guys all friends now? And there's some references to that coming up in the game. I don't want to get super into like where this falls in relationship to Half-Life 1 until we get to certain characters.
And it's almost not a game I don't imagine we'll spend a lot of time talking about the story.
No.
Because the story, for me, who has very little idea of what is going on, seems like it's a backseat to the campaign. It's not why you're here.
You described this game as a video game.
Yes.
And I said, yes, it has a lot of that. I will say
a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I said to you, you have to think that a lot of the things that Half-Life 2 does at the time was very big and revolutionary. And now feels very quaint and common. But at the time, people weren't doing some of this stuff.
Let me say up front, I feel this is going to sound like a major negative, but I mean it as a major compliment. I feel like I've played this before. And I don't mean that in a sense of like, there's nothing original here. No. This feels like this wrote the book on how to do a 10 to 12 hour first-person shooter campaign that everybody has been ripping off since.
No, it does.
And from like the level design, from like the break in shooting to exploration to puzzle solving, back and forth, all the sequences in this game I've played in other games. Yes. And that's not a negative. This feels like going back to like the early like metal albums.
Yeah.
All the like extremely like foundational. Occasional some rough spots here that'll get smoothed up, and like when later people take the reins. But overall, like you're just repeating beats that's been done for years.
You go back and you listen to the Black Sabbaths of the world and the Dio and all those guys, and then you're like, okay, well, a lot of these themes and these similar styles slowly develop into like like songs like "Am I Evil" will influence early Metallica. Songs like even like Queen has a lot of songs that were at the time, like, you don't think Queen as a metal band, but certain songs would later influence bands to start playing faster, playing more aggressive, and then you start turning that gain up and you start getting into. So like if you talk to, like, you see interviews with guys like the guys from Slayer and stuff like that, their influences are going to be a lot of the same people who are being influenced by Metallica, who's being influenced by Anthrax on the other side of the country. Who's influencing Anthrax on the other side of the country. Like, I'm just using the big four right there, but I'm talking those, Death, all those metal bands, Venom. Like, this is very much where a lot of these shooter campaigns that you've played before got a lot of their ideas and their style and how they hand out weapons, how they build up your arsenal, how they transition into environments. Half-Life 2 lays the groundwork for a lot of that.
Yes, and it feels like the perfection of that type of shooter from that generation, because this is near the end of the PS2 Xbox generation, where when I think of like shooters, I think of like, for the most part, like tight corridors, like moving from distinct level to level to level. One thing that did it around this time too was like something like a Halo 2, which had a lot more open environments. But then you look at something that a Halo game that came out after Half-Life 2, Halo Reach.
Yes.
In Halo Reach, there's bits where you're driving around the Warthog to like small encampments, dealing with waves of like Covenant and stuff, then you're getting back in the Warthog, going through a gate. That is straight from Half-Life 2.
Well, and like even let's look at like the games that were before the first Half-Life. Mm-hmm. Where you have games like Quake, Quake 2, Doom,
very level based.
Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
Like, these games are extremely level based.
Labyrinth.
Yeah. They don't feel like places a lot of times. That was the big thing, like, that build engine games did well. Like Doom and not Doom, Duke Nukem. And like Shadow Warrior and stuff like that were build engine or Blood. They did a really good job of actually making places feel like real places. Like, you play Blood and you're at like the carnival or you're on the train, it feels like a real train. Before that, a lot of shooter games, like as a man who replayed Quake last year, it's just Labyrinth. It's hallways and elevators, and Quake and Doom do, like, set up the concept of like weapon progression and things like that. Mm-hmm. The build engine games start to show that you can actually make places feel like, in Duke Nukem, feels like a movie theater.
Yeah.
But then Half-Life starts doing things where places start transitioning into different environments. You start to get into situations where weapon progression is more about just getting the weapons for the chapter, and it's about getting the weapon at the right time in the entire campaign experience. Feeling like you traveled throughout an environment. I went from here and I ended up here, is where Half-Life really starts nailing that down. And Half-Life 2 in particular does a wonderful job of that. Look at where we're at the beginning of Half-Life 2 to where we're at now. You can tell me how you got there. You never took a nap and woke up in a completely different place. You got to that environment by traveling there. And in shooters, that was not very common before the Half-Life franchise.
Yeah, this reminded me a lot of like some like Naughty Dog games too, where they do that exact like sightline stuff. As like, we need to get here and you can see it on the horizon. So this reminded me of like a lot of like Uncharted, like third-person shooter games too, like Gears of War, same thing, where you're making your way through environments to get to the next thing, and it all makes sense. And even like some of the puzzles from that they still do are lifted from that game. The puzzle where you grab barrels to shift a weight to make a bridge to use your thing
your airboat.
Your airboat. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Across, there's something similar in like The Last of Us.
Yeah.
A game that's like still about like 10 years old, but like I can go back to like Titanfall's 2 campaign and a lot of stuff that was lifted from this. It blows my mind how things that I thought were like original and cool, I can trace the through line back to this very game.
Yeah.
And it may have not have been the first game to do a shooter campaign like this, but every single modern 10, 15 hour shooter action adventure campaign, I can trace that line, and 75% of them will all go back to this game.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Well, and also, a lot of like the physics stuff is to show off their engine, but it doesn't feel necessarily like a tech demo. It feels like it makes sense in the world.
Oh, yeah.
I was amazed at how well this thing holds up.
It feels simultaneously of the time, but not dated. Does that make sense? Yeah.
No, like you go back.
It feels like a game that came out in 2004, but it feels like the best version of a game that could have came out in 2004.
You compare this to like some games at the similar time, like the Medal of Honor games that were coming out on the PlayStation 2. Mm-hmm. Compare this to like Sin, or compare it to which like famously Sin gets screwed over because it releases like the month of Half-Life gets released, but like compare it to like Killzone, and even the first Halo campaign. It's a completely more in-depth, more predecessor to what your modern shooters are today.
Yeah.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah.
And one thing I also want to talk about with the story concepts, you talk about the story not being a focus, and I agree that it's not the major focus. But one thing I do want to kind of draw attention to is the character walk in this game.
Oh, the characters
are
great.
At the time is great. And I always brag on Alex in particular because Alex would take a highlight in episode 1 and episode 2, particularly in episode 1, where she would become like almost like a flagship for their like character design and their character walk. And so even though the story might not necessarily be the most compelling part of this, the character walk is very, very good.
Yeah, I can tell you probably 3 plot points that I'm very have a full grasp on. I can break down most of the characters, like personality types, just from having like a few conversations.
Exactly.
The character writing is great. All right, so do you want me to do the baseline of what I understand from this story so far?
Yeah.
The CP is bad.
That's civil protection.
Yeah.
That is just the version of the Combine. The Combine is... Yeah, okay, so the Combine... When you say CP, think of it as like the Combine being like the entire existence of this enemy group that's taken over the Earth. The CP is like the unit that deals with day-to-day operations.
Gotcha.
They're the cops, while there's a military version of the Combine.
They remind me of like just like the faceless masks and everything remind me of like the stormtroopers from Star Wars. They seem to feel that similar niche. Seem to be a lot more competent than the stormtroopers from Star Wars.
Well, they took over the Earth in 7 hours.
Okay.
So, I think is it 7 hours or is it 7 days? Famously, when the Combine shows up, they wipe the Earth out in like 7. They wipe out the U.S. like the military of the world in like 7 hours.
The other thing I understand kinda is teleporters are needlessly complicated and did some bad stuff in the past.
So teleporters are the bane of the Half-Life universe. The Half-Life starts off with Gordon Freeman participating in a teleportation experiment.
They make references to him being a scientist before he was like a...
So Gordon Freeman...
He seemed like somebody who was a scientist back in when the Black Mesa incident happened in the first game. So where he kind of was thrown in and became a soldier through
he's not
necessity. He became really competent with like weaponry as a result of...
Gordon Freeman is a MIT graduate who works at Black Mesa, which is a research facility.
Yeah.
So he is not a soldier or anything like that. He was working on a science project at Black Mesa that goes wrong. I'm doing
Naturally.
a very big Cliff Notes version of Half-Life. That causes teleportation-related incidents that brings aliens and things like that into our world.
So those what the head crabs are.
Yes.
They are a result of Gordon Freeman messing up a scientist project.
Yeah. Well, I think he's sabotaged, but, we'll go into that.
Okay.
But Gordon Freeman, to answer your question, Gordon Freeman is a scientist. He's particularly an MIT graduate. He is a very, very smart man.
Teleporters bet. So is it like a situation where because he was sabotaged and now we have a bunch of head crabs running around, that's what allowed the CP and the Carbine to rise to power?
No. Okay,
okay.
Let's give you just a very... I don't want to... Because some stuff will be talked about later on.
Okay.
Gordon Freeman, after the events of Half-Life, is kind of put on ice. He kind of lost in the ether. So Gordon is being returned to the ward by the man called the G-Man, who is the mysterious gentleman who wakes you up at the beginning of the game.
The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. Was one of the first lines of the game that stuck with me.
He is a outside entity playing his own kind of game at this.
As someone who played some PC games in high school, I know a lot about the G-Man. That seems to be like the coolest game character that I knew people who were obsessed with. They were like, "Oh man, the G-Man."
Well, there's all the theories and stuff. Gordon, because he's been on ice, has not seen that the war has progressed in real time. The Combine has taken over the Earth, and after coming through a portal, if you listen to some of the dialogue, it references the fact that the Combine has the technology to bring themselves to our Earth and our universe via a portal, but once they're here, they're grounded to
they're an alternate
regular travel.
So they're an alternate universe threat.
Alternate universe.
Okay.
Yeah, let's say that.
Okay.
The Combine has, like I said, famously takes over the Earth in 7 hours. Well, I believe it's 7 hours. 7-hour war. So
that sounds familiar. A reference to that.
Humanity is now kind of under their thumb. The Vortigaunts, who were enemies in Half-Life 1, are also kind of with humanity. They're being used as second class. They've been taken over by the Combine also.
Everyone seems to be like... it reminds me of seeing like images from school of like World War II concentration camps of like
humanity,
not concentration camps, the ghettos, like
the Jewish the way the Jewish people were basically put into ghettos during the German occupation,
like destroyed, bombarded buildings and everything. People being hunted down for like sport because the CP just gets bored and decides to I'm going to raid this.
They're just assholes that they're occupiers. They're occupying Earth.
They have there's no repercussion for their actions.
There's references to the fact humanity is not allowed to have children. That's suppressed. There's a lot of links to things like the fact that those people being rounded up and sent to prisons.
Everyone's wearing like
jumpsuits,
blue jumpsuits,
and some of this
going in, and a lot of the messaging here on like the loudspeakers are very effective.
Yes, we also see one of our former colleagues from Black Mesa whose name just left my head.
Is it Barney?
No,
not Barney.
The gentleman who's the guy who's doling out the Combine propaganda.
Is that Dr. Breen?
Possibly,
because
yes.
He's a guy in a video and he says, "Welcome to C-17. It's safer here," which I liked because I'm like, it's not safe, it's safer.
He is basically
it's slightly better than everything else going on.
He's been made into the Combine's like human-facing head of. He's the occupying's puppet.
Gotcha. It's a puppet.
And
he's a friendly face who's being manipulated by a dark evil.
And he is a former member of Black Mesa also. Gordon knows who he is.
Gotcha. Because someone makes a reference, someone in the town says like, this is his base of operations.
Yeah, you're in the capital basically.
Gotcha. So City 17 is like the capital of the Earth, or like what?
Or Earth. The Combine runs everything.
Okay,
so it's Earth.
Okay.
And he's basically been made almost like going back to the World War II thing when the Nazis took over France, they installed a French president, who was just a figurehead for the Nazi party to tell him, but it was so the people feel like there is someone of them in control.
We have control. We're not a
yeah.
yeah.
And it's the Combine is here for the betterment of humanity. We just have to listen to them. He's a turncoat.
Gotcha.
Gordon pops up. He has no clue what's going on. This is a great sequence where we're just learning about the ward. We're traveling around an intro train depot. We get poured for interrogation and rescued by another former member of the security guards over at Black Mesa, Barney.
This is Barney. I like Barney instantly.
Yes. Barney's working undercover for the Resistance. And he's like, oh, crap, Gordon Freeman. Like, you got to think, Gordon's been gone for a long time. So it's a big deal that he's just now popped up.
This reminds me, this came up before, of Mass Effect 2, where your character's been out of commission for a bit. So when you see old friends popping up, and they're just like old times.
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
Like,
yeah,
a bit. It gave me similar feelings of and again, also someone who played Mass Effect 2 first. I'm like, I can tell there's a relationship here, even if I don't fully grasp what it is.
Yeah. Barney and the way he talks to you, you can tell that you know each other.
Instantly, vibe of good friends.
Exactly.
Yeah. Went through hell together.
Yeah.
Type deal. Yeah.
We get outside. Barney lets us outside to try to go walk our way to our buddy Eli's lab. Well, not his lab, but to where he's kind of based out of, so we can get
I wrote down Dr. Kleiner.
Dr. Kleinel is his lab, but we're trying to get to Eli, who's kind of become one of the default rebel leaders.
The scientists are leading the Resistance. That's kind of
they're also the ones who led to the teleportation technology, so they're kind of cleaning up mistakes. But this is a great example of letting us, and I hope I'm not misremembering some stuff. I played through Half-Life in a very long time ago, so I'm trying.
Everything makes sense to me. So
well, yeah. But if people would like to write in and remind me of things, understand it's been a long time since I played through the first Half-Life.
If someone can write a Cliff's Notes version of what's happening here for me, that'd be great.
That.
I mean, yeah.
It can take me 2 minutes, but I didn't think about it before. Here, we're gonna talk about Half-Life 2, man.
Yeah.
No, this is a great sequence. Just once again, I was amazed at how long we go without a weapon in our hand.
And there's a bit right after you leave Barney where there's a rooftop chase where you don't have any weapons. There's no waypoint mark. This is when I realized there's no waypoint markers in the game. You have to use the environmental clues to figure out where you're going, and I'm never stuck, even without a waypoint marker pointing specifically tell me where to go, or Gordon saying to himself, maybe I should put the barrel underneath this.
The
figure out where to
design
go.
is clean enough that you don't need a lot of obnoxious UI stuff to tell you what to do.
Incredibly smart. If I'm on a rooftop getting gunned down, I'm going to find the best path forward. So that's all you need to do. You just need to design me a path where I can easily navigate it, but not just a straight line in order to keep the tension. I gotta make swerves around buildings. I gotta walk this ledge here. Where people are shooting up at me from down the street or across from buildings.
So what kickstarts that is basically there's a raid on the apartment complex you're working your way through. And yeah, you're right. The game is extremely linear, but it hides its linear.
It doesn't feel like it with its openness.
Yeah, it does a great job of hiding it. Great sequence here with Gordon running from the Combine. They're shooting up from the streets. They're busting down doors, chasing after him. We get cornered in a room, and then we get our introduction to our buddy Alex, who rescues us from a Combine from getting their hands on us.
It didn't feel scripted at first. It wasn't until Alex showed up and I realized this was scripted. Because you see them, and then you naturally try to turn back, and there's more guys there.
Yeah, it
and
feels very panicky.
And it feels oh man, I got into a lose state or something.
Yeah.
And then, no, it's scripted, but it hides.
Yeah.
Everything that's scripted in this game, it hides it extremely well, to the point where you're oh no, that was supposed to happen.
It feels very natural too, because like you said, it's not that you stop, you see them, you turn around, and they hit you, and you're over. No, it's it gives you those couple of seconds of trying to panic run. I
can't go forward, I can't go back, I'm stuck, I'm dead. Oh no.
So Alex rescues us and sets us on the path to get out of here. She also gives us the iconic crowbar. This leads to some more navigating of the city environment, walking our way through. We're also going to get our first gun here after saving a couple of civilians from some Combine abuses. We get our first pistol. It's just a very simple, straightforward semi-automatic pistol. Almost every first-person shooter in the world starts you off with one. And it feels pretty good. The shooting in this is very, very good.
I changed some of my controls around.
Yeah, I changed some of mine. I swapped my reload. I did some stuff like that.
I put reload on X. I put crouch on B. I did run into an issue where I tried to put the flashlight up on the D-pad. It let me do that. But they simplify the control menu, I believe, on console to where you can't adjust what the D-pad buttons or something. So let me put that. And then when I got a crowbar, it said unassigned. So I was like, oh, I'll just reassign my flashlight somewhere else. I couldn't. I had to set all my controls to default and then figure it out. So eventually I found out, oh, nothing's on the left bumper. I'll put flashlight on the left bumper.
Yeah, because...
And that didn't break anything. So.
Yeah, because the weapon selection is Viva the D-pad.
It didn't tell me that.
Yeah, and it's not a great system, but...
It feels simplified for, us console players.
Yeah, it's very much a PC game simplification.
Here's your, resolution it's running at. It's grayed out. Don't worry about it. It feels like Gabe Newell was patting my head going, who's a good Xbox player?
It's very condescending.
A little bit. I was like, oh, you have to change this on the system menu.
Yeah.
Do you need help finding the system menu? So it's like, oh my God.
we as Gordon will eventually find our ways to the lab.
Mm-hmm.
Where a teleportation incident. We're attempting to teleport to Eli's base of operations. The new version of Black Mesa is being called.
Mm-hmm.
Alex goes first. Goes well. Gordon hops in. And Lamar, the defanged head crab, sabotages the experiment. And we get teleported a grand total of 5 feet after some crazy shenanigans.
Where we see, I believe, that's Dr. Brain, right? We appear in his office, and he looks at you. It's really cool because as someone who didn't play the game, I'm like, oh, I've seen that guy who didn't play the first game. Saw him on, the screens and everything. And he looks at you and just, Gordon Freeman. I was like, oh, he knows me.
Yeah.
That moment of, realization.
Yeah, it's a good, really realization of that Gordon knows who he is also.
There's one thing here before then I kind of want to touch on too. There was a bit that made me really like the character animations for the time. There's a bit where you're heading into the bunker and everything, and there's stairs to go down. Alex just jumps over the railing, so naturally I was like, I'm gonna jump over the railing too. So I hit the jump button to jump over it instead of walking down those stairs. I guess it really there's so much character personality, even the animation.
You would love Alex in episode 1.
Gotcha.
I must say that. Just a ton of good stuff here as we're now told, okay, hey, we can't take the easy way. You're going to have to get there on foot. A lot of navigating of City 17 here. Running, escaping from patrols. You get yourself your first your machine gun.
There's a bit here where I realized that this game, especially this first part, you don't have to fight everybody.
No.
It's all about evasion. Just kill the guys in your way. You don't have to kill the guys on the rooftops. Just keep running and evading, and then you will be fine.
It's also, there's tons of hidden little areas that's very reminiscent of the more id style and really the id and build engine stuff with hidden zones where you would find equipment and stuff in those games, like a hidden door in Quake or blow a wall up in Duke Nukem. There's a lot of that kind of stuff where you can take little field trips to go find.
Still no secret room sound in Duke.
Yeah. No secret room sound or anything like that, but those secrets you can find. And sometimes there's a cool little combat encounter there. It's very, very much what you're exploring.
Oh, yeah.
This whole section, you're right, you don't have to fight everybody because a lot of it's you just avoiding stuff and solving puzzles and walking your way out. There's a great sequence in which we learn that the The Combine uses the head crabs as almost like a biological weapon, where they drop bombs on a civilian section to release head crabs to create zombies. This is important to teach you because we are going to see the widespread effects of that later on in the game.
What happens when this problem becomes overrun?
What happens when it's more than just 3 or 4 of these little bombs?
Yeah.
Really great sequence that leads all the way up to us getting our first vehicle, which is the airboat.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's Waterworks. What is it?
Water hazard.
Water hazard. Water hazard is a mission I have love-hate relationship with.
I liked this. I thought it went on like a near perfect amount of time. When I was done with it was when it wrapped up.
Water hazard, the one thing I do wish is there's times where I don't like the unnecessary getting out of the boat because I feel like it does kind of break some of the tension.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some amazing stuff in water hazard between the escaping the helicopter attacks when you don't have a gun on the airboat and you're dodging rockets coming off of the APCs and the helicopters chasing you down and Combine soldiers are running up on the bridges and opening fire on you as you come by and you're just weaving and dodging. It feels really cool. It's got that Uncharted style escape sequence.
This is where I felt the like quote unquote like gameplay loop really set in and made me go, oh man, this is an insane level of variety because you have shooting sections. Then sometimes you'll go from a shooting section to a bit where you need to explore and now that you explored, you found a puzzle you needed to solve. Okay, you found the puzzle, now you're back on the boat. Now you're doing an escape sequence before you get to another combat sequence. It's changing it up on the fly so many times and it all feels natural, like it just gradually seamlessly flows from like one thing into another. Like you'll have pockets of gameplay, like I'm sure if you look at it, it'll look like kind of like a bead level design.
Yeah.
So you have like something happening, you have a little bit of like getting to the next thing, then you'll have another beat of something, and then it all connected together in like a string type thing.
And some great small combat encounters here. You get your 357 Magnum, which is my favorite gun in the game. I love the 357.
One shot to those zombies.
One shot those zombies. One shot the Combine too. And one of my favorite sound effects in this game is the Combine when they die make a like their heart monitors like going out. So there's something so cool about rounding the corner and going bam, one shot with 357 and hearing it's like yep, that one down. One thing that you will notice throughout this entire game, the Combine are all exclusively hit scan enemies. That is a challenge. Hit scan enemies can feel very cheap. This is not an extremely difficult shooter, but from a point of view when fighting the Combine, because of the hit scan, they can delete you if you don't pay attention because they're not missing. It's not like a projectile-based enemy that's going to miss you.
It's one of those things you need to be aware of how many enemies you're dealing with at a time because you can have, especially when you get to the ones with the blue eyes later on this section with like the upgraded assault rifle and stuff.
Yeah.
As you were saying, they'll delete your health.
Yeah,
like
the
it's
pulse
no problem.
rifle. The pulse rifle is very, very dangerous. And even the shotgun Combine are very dangerous.
Oh, those shotgunners got me.
Yeah, they're very dangerous.
Because they operate on the same rules you do. If you have one in a point break range with that shotgun, you can kill them in one shot. They have the same rules. And if you are in a point blank range with a shotgun and you don't have your suit shields charged, you're going to die.
Like I said, and also with them being hit scan, they don't miss. They're not going to miss you on that shot. If they see you and they have a clear line of sight, you're hit. The hit scan got me coughing. Really, really good stuff here, though. Water hazard is a great mission that leads up to a point in which you finally gain a gun on the airboat, which leads to you taking on the helicopter in open combat.
That's such a great boss fight.
It's a great boss fight. The helicopter has many, many different attack runs. And it feels so epic because you're in such a large area. You're doing like strafing runs and it's coming after you. It's dropping the mines. Water Hazard is a very, very good mission. Like I said, I'm a little iffy on some of the times where you have to get out for little things. But I think all in all, Water Hazard is really, really good. This will lead to us eventually walking our way to Black Mesa East, I believe.
Black Mesa East, yeah.
Which is the big character moment. We finally get to get face to face with our old buddy Eli.
I was surprised there were good guys here. Like,
Yeah.
I know, like, when I saw Black Mesa East, I'm like, this place is going to be overrun. We're going to be too late. No.
When we get
Not
here,
yet.
they're here. Yeah, they're here. Everybody, this is the headquarters to the Resistance that we've been running into all the way on the way here. I really like how it's almost like an underground railroad setup.
Yeah.
Where people are helping you get to Black Mesa East, and it's like an established escape route. When you get there, it's a cool moment because they're like, hey, Gordon, we're going to get you out of that HV suit because we're going to get you back in a lab coat because that's the way you can truly help us is your brain. I think that's when Eli says the line, there's not a lot of MIT graduates running around here anymore. And so you can do some little playing around with the experiments. Did you do some of that? You can do that in all of the labs.
Yeah, I did like the teleporter stuff
Yeah.
where I I believe it's like, is it a cactus?
Yeah. You can break it. If you put too much stuff in it, it'll break. There's lots of great stuff here in Black Mesa East where, like in the elevator, you see Vertigons like cooking in the kitchen. They got chef hats on and stuff. Great thing, we meet up with our buddy Alex, who takes us out and gives us the very, very complicated name, but it's the gravity gun. The gravity gun at the time, I don't think people will know or understand how big of a deal the gravity gun was. Like, the gravity gun, being able to just pick up anything in the environment and throw it at somebody.
It's still fun.
It's so damn good.
Definitely stands the test of time.
Yes.
Especially since, like, being a game built more so than I thought around, like, physics-based puzzles and physics-based, like, exploration and stuff, this makes it all come to a head and be like, this is why you need to perfect the physics engine.
This is why Source Engine is a big deal.
Yes. It is an incredible weapon that is most of what I use, especially during, like, the next bit.
Yes, there was an achievement that
I saw that you popped it.
Well, I
Because
had
I was looking to see how far ahead of me you were.
Well, I had it back in 2008.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, that was back in 2008 I got that.
Oh.
The only achievement I got is I went back and I set a bunch of people on fire with a flare to get an achievement. But no, I have all those achievements you're looking at from 2008.
Oh, gosh, I didn't check the dates on those.
Yeah. No, but you can complete Ravenholm with the gravity gun. Great reference, great foreshadowing here. Alex and you are going out back to go fiddle around with the gravity gun.
And play with dog.
And we go down a hallway and we look at another one and we go,
oh, yeah.
That's the old path to Ravenholm. We don't go there anymore. And anytime something does foreshadowing, I always use the line, we don't go to Ravenholm anymore. I love Ravenholm. We're about to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Go out there, we meet Dog, who's a big robotic gorilla / dog that was invented to protect Alex. Eli, by the way, is Alex's father. So, which is a cool thing because we know Eli, so his daughter is, it's cool to see that Eli time has passed. We play some fetch, we shoot some basketball.
I got a 2G achievement for playing basketball.
Yeah, you gotta hit those 2 shots. You gotta hit that shot. You gotta get it ricocheting.
Oh, to get the Air 3?
No, did you get it from shooting it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's how you get it. You shoot
I
the
did.
ball.
I got that, the 2G achievement.
Yeah.
How do I get the 3 back?
Play a different game.
Oh, no. It's one of these.
I actually think there is a 3-point achievement. Actually, I think there's a 23-point achievement in here that maybe you can even it up.
Counteract it, because mine messed up long ago, because for some reason I ended up at 6. Mine ends in a 6. So.
Mine ends in 7, so I don't know how that all good things must come to an end. Big attack by the Combine. Dog and you and Alex are rushing back to get to Eli. They've kidnapped Eli. The Combine are busting in. Everything's going to shit. And we get separated, and there's only one way for Gordon to get out of there. Gotta go to Ravenholm. I love Ravenholm.
This bit is my favorite bit in the game.
It's my favorite bit in the game. It's one of my favorite bits in video games.
I can see that. There's some good stuff here. I want to write first note I wrote, because my brain is broken. My first thought was when it says we don't go to Ravenholm appeared. I instantly started singing, "We don't talk about Raven, home, home, home. We don't talk about."
There
Raven,
was no
home.
"We don't talk about Bruno" in 2008.
I know,
So
I know, but it's I told you my brain is broken, and that's what it immediately went to. So now when I think of Ravenholm, I think of that song.
Man, that's a
It's a weird
connection.
It's a weird connection for some reason. Again, brain broken.
I love Ravenholm because it's completely different than anything else in this game.
That's my first note here too. Very different, much more intense atmosphere than the rest of the game so far.
Yeah,
even the soundtrack
is great.
Dark synthesizer ambience reminds me a lot of reminds me of the Aubrey Hodges Doom score. Have you heard that alternate soundtrack to Doom? Yeah.
A lot of great stuff here. I did play through this at one point all the way through with nothing but the gravity gun. I used the gravity gun for the bulk of this mission. Only switched it up when I got the shotgun because God, I love the shotgun.
The shotgun's so good.
It's a damn good shotgun.
Any game that lets me do one button to fire both barrels, good game. That's the signifier.
Ravenholm also, I just punched my mic, so sorry about that. Ravenholm has great things like pulling razor blades out of walls to shoot
with the gravity gun and chops them in half.
Grabbing paint cans. If you hit them with the paint can, they're covered in paint.
Yes, love that too.
Bashing head crabs in with chairs and stuff. It feels so desperate, and it's a great showing you that the gravity gun will be your research management gun. Because when in doubt, you always have the gravity gun. So if you're out of ammo, you always got the gravity gun. If you get good at pulling stuff out of the environment, smashing into people with it, you'll be okay. We also meet Father Grigori, I believe his name is.
Grigori, yeah.
Yes. Who is
a pastor.
Yeah, he's a pastor, priest, who is ministering to his flock. And we learn that Ravenholm is a city that was bombed by the Combine with the head crab bombs. Mm-hmm. So this is when I still talk about in C-17 when they hit you with a couple of those head crab bombs. This is what happens when they bomb an entire city with them. Ravenholm is very straightforward. You walk your way through Ravenholm, dodging traps, using traps to fight enemies to get out of Ravenholm. But the experience is top-notch. There's tons of great little puzzle sequences. It adds some really scary versions of the head crabs with the fast-moving ones. The black head crabs they'll kill you faster than anything else in this game.
The introduction of those fast head crabs is my favorite moment of the game so far. It's when you leave one of the abandoned buildings and you look up at the moon and they're jumping across buildings. It's terrifying. The scream they do is incredible. I love that moment.
When you find the Combine covered zombies that have the black head crabs on them and they would throw the head crabs at you. Mm-hmm. Those black head crabs will also cause you to go down to 1 point of health with one hit.
Neurotoxin, yep.
Yeah, and it will come back. But if you're in a heavy fight, and here's a spoiler, there's going to be times when you're dealing with those, and you're dealing with Combine soldiers. So you're dealing with
solid aim again.
Remember that hit scan thing? Now imagine an enemy that's hit scan who you just got dropped down to 1 health. So prioritize killing the black head crabs. Because they are fast, they jump, and they're scary as shit. Ravenholm is so simple, but yet so effective. doing things like turning on the rotary blades and standing underneath them so the zombies get chopped in half. But then there's a trick one at one point in which you turn it on to do that trick and it blows up.
I missed that one.
Okay, so in one of the major open events at the end of the game, end of Ravenholm, there's one in the street and you get attacked by a bunch of zombies at one point. And because it's taught you to turn these things on and hide underneath them, you do that. But when you do it, it rotates 4 times, it blows up, it damages you, and it sends the blade flying down into the alley.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can pick up the blade with the gravity gun and shoot it, and it's a massive 7-foot-long blade that cuts through everything in front of it. But you got to grab it real quick. It's a great sequence, and it's an optional thing, but it's awesome.
That's amazing. Like hidden gameplay stuff like that is so cool.
We get the shotgun here from Father Grigori. The great damn shotgun. Single shot, double shot, depending on which which trigger you pull.
Always double. Always double.
Combine, I usually single shot. Zombies get doubled,
Mm-hmm.
Especially fast moving ones. You can hit them in the head with a double shot. Also, it's great for deleting the combine that have the black head crabs on them.
This is
you can empty the shotgun with 3 shots into them, and it'll kill them.
This is the first chapter where I start using a tactic from the days of old, the circle strafe.
Yeah.
Circle strafe is really good here.
Circle strafe is very good because the zombies are not as good at keeping track with that. Because they're not hit scan. The zombies are better to fight than the combine in my mind. This leads to a great moment in which you and Father Grigori he's trying to get you to the mines. And there's a great moment in which he sacrifices himself to get you out. And he goes, search for the light, brother. As he's laughing and he sets off an explosion as the zombies are all coming in on him. It's this epic...
Phenomenal exit.
Yeah, it was great. He's a great character. He's only in the game for a very short amount of time, but he's very, very cool.
I wrote, rides the line between badass and madman.
Yeah, yeah. This gets us to a very short portion. Like I said, I'm going to say it one more time. I did not do Ravenholm justice. I love Ravenholm, but it's more about playing it than it is talking about the events.
Well, we could talk about, because all we can talk about really here is, especially the atmosphere, walking in and seeing a torso just hanging by not even torso, the bottom half of a body hanging from a tree is,
and it
sets
swaying,
the tone.
And it's swaying in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
When you come into some of the rooms and the top half of the zombie is resting on a saw blade against the wall, so someone has used the saw blade to cut it in half. There's multiple sections in which you go into rooms where he's cut the zombies open. They're on tables. There's a lot of good environmental storytelling in this section.
And it does it without having a note that says we had to chop the bodies in half.
It's stuff that they get really good at for Left 4 Dead.
Yes.
And this is a really good version of that also.
Uh-huh. Very subtle. There's a couple, I believe there's a couple wall messages here, not to the extent of, a Left 4 Dead type thing, but,
There's a couple of them, don't go into here or whatever. There's a lot of, there's the traps that he's using to kill the zombies with. Great sequences in which he ambushes zombies from rooftops to help you.
Really intense bit where he's sending the, zip line thing,
the cart,
and then you you can't see down where they're coming from. You just have to pay attention to the pipes, and when you see the pipe shaking, you have to get ready because one is coming up.
And hearing the pipe shaking to the right and turning and bam, 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 dropping it. Seeing the pipe shake to the left and turning and bam, 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 dropping him. Yeah, it's a really good... I love Ravenholm. It's one of my favorite levels in video games.
It's so good.
And I was really happy that it holds up. It really does.
We will most likely talk more about Ravenholm at the end of this year.
Yeah, when we do our
some good levels and sections so far this year. That's going to make a best moment or best level.
I think we're going to have a really good best level category.
Yeah, I see that happening.
Yeah. The mines are very hard to talk about. Not much to go on there. It's just a lot of control fall. Walk your way out of the mines. That gets you back out into the out of Ravenholm into the city, which I don't believe is supposed to be City 17. It's just a different city or a different part of the ward. Great sequence when you're dealing with snipers as you're trying to work your way down a train track. Throwing grenades up into the sniper holes.
Oh, yeah.
This is also where you kill and get your hands on the Pulse rifle. I love the Pulse rifle.
Such a good rifle. I haven't found any of the alternate ammo for it yet, so I don't know what it does, but it reminds me of the symbol for a plasma grenade in Halo, so I'm expecting some good AoE on that.
I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it is a really good alternate fire. Alternate fire with the machine gun is good because it's just a grenade launcher, but it's a dead powerful one.
So much so that it will hurt you if you get too close.
Yeah.
I've blown myself up a few times with that thing out of an act of desperation, just being like, I need to clear these guys fast. Uh-oh, he's too close.
It's great in Ravenholm to shoot them down from the rooftops into the crowds. It's really cool. Great sequence here. You're fighting your way through, and what will eventually lead to us. I believe you find the resistance group that gives you the rocket launcher. Correct?
Yeah, there's a small village here where they'll be like, hey, follow us into the basement, and there's a guy giving like a PowerPoint presentation on how to take down airships.
Using the RPG.
Yeah. And he's like, Gordon Freeman's here. He'll explain it.
Well, he's also like, who's going to be the first one to use it? Gordon Freeman. If anyone's going to use this, Gordon Freeman. The RPG is a really, really cool thing because it's tracking. So when you shoot it, you use the laser to designate where the rocket is.
Yes.
And if you shoot it straight at the gunship will shoot down the rocket. Mm-hmm. So instead, what you kind of do is you shoot it, and then what I do is do loop-de-loops into it. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to work.
I would like try to bait it out and have it like go over top of me. And then while it's like making its turn around, then I would point and shoot at it to try to take it down. I didn't think about the loop-de-loop stuff.
Because its tracks, also you can shoot past it and then put the laser on it, and it'll come back towards you to hit the rocket, to hit the ship.
Yeah.
So the RPG is really cool once you get the hang of it, because you can shoot it way off target and then sling it into the target. It's really, really good RPG.
I haven't experimented with like turning it. Does it turn fast on like a dime?
Yeah, it's fast.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah, you can do some cool. Like I said, when I shoot it at it, I usually shoot straight on and do loop-de-loops
around the target,
around it, and so it connects at the end. It's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. Okay,
it's very cool.
I didn't write a lot of stuff for this chapter because there's a lot of traveling. It is a lot of traveling, and there's bits in this game where I just get into. It has that good flow to it. Where there's sections where I don't necessarily remember just because I get in that like first person shooter zone.
Exactly.
Where I just get into the game where I can't. There's some sections I don't really remember all that well. I was paying like full attention to it and I got through it, but not saying it's like it's going by any, but you know what I mean.
It's a flow.
You get that, the flow exactly. There's a flow to it, and the fact that like that you can even have that type of like euphoria in this type of game is like
it's good. It's
a really good compliment. Yeah. I loved the crane puzzle.
The crane puzzle where you pick up the card and move it up onto the
knocking them all over like dominoes feels so good.
That is something we get the car.
Yeah.
Which is version of the airboat. It comes pre-installed with a machine gun, and it comes pre-installed with also an ammo crate on the back.
Yeah. Also, there's a bit where they do a thing where it gets knocked over, so you have to use the gravity gun, and that teaches you, hey, you're gonna be tumbling and falling in this thing.
Yeah.
Here's how you can kind of get yourself
back up.
Also,
it teaches you that you can move obstacles in your path with the gravity gun.
Because there's the bit later on near the end of the section where you're stuck next to the cars with a gunship following you.
Yeah.
So you got to clear a path to get to the ammo for the RPG. And they save the RPG ammo because you're going to mostly be out whenever you try to face one because you use it all in the last one. So when you run to a gunship, it's kind of that moment of, oh crap, I need to scavenge. So you're like running around this environment trying to find.
Because the gunships take enough hits that the amount of ammo you carry, which is 3, is not enough to take down a gunship.
It's 5, right?
Yes, 5. So you have to go find more, which leads to one of my favorite sequences coming up. On the path here, we find the sniper rifle, which is a crossbow. Did you?
Okay. I got. We said sniper rifle, and I went, oh no, I missed something. I got the crossbow.
It's crossbow.
Okay.
The crossbow's cool. I like the crossbow.
One hit kills.
Hitting the Columbine soldier that's up on the the billboard with the crossbow is so fun because it pins them.
That's cool.
Just tons of great stuff here. This is also a section in which it causes you to lose the car because you hit a bridge with the
there's two gates getting through.
Yeah, you won't be able to take the car through.
It took me a while to figure out. This was one part. It took me a while to figure out where I needed to go to get across the bridge.
Yeah, then you have to work your way below the bridge, work your way all the way to the other side.
More platforming here than I was expecting.
Exactly.
This one I realized. I'm glad this is relatively tight because otherwise this would be a problem.
Yeah, because there's a lot of walking on very small beams, and then those sections when the train comes by while you're on the beams. So if you're not moving quickly, it shakes the damn beams. Bunch of good stuff here. On your way back, you get attacked by a helicopter, so you have to fight the helicopter while navigating the bridge. Get across the bridge, dodge a couple of trains.
That part is, I died to it, but it's a hilarious death because like the giants from Skyrim, it would just launch you. Like it's not even funny halfway across the map. And then the screen goes red, and then there's like almost Terminator text, which has me thinking, is Gordon Freeman like an actual robot? Which I'm like, no, that's a dumb thought.
It'd be cool if he was though.
And then it does a thing where you don't see where it crashes, but when you reload the game, it shows you, and you're like way outside the map because there's like unfinished like water textures and stuff. And on that screenshot when it says loading, when it puts you back at the checkpoint, really generous checkpoints too. Like I never feel like it's, I never feel like I'm going back too far, and like I'm dying a fair amount, but not enough to be frustrating. Enough to be like, okay, I should have done it this way.
I think I've died 3 times.
Died a lot more than that, but
and they were to fall damage, falling off the bridge. I fell a couple of times. And then the helicopter got me one time because he hit a barrel. I was shooting at the helicopter, and it blew up a barrel behind me and killed me that
gotcha.
way.
One of the scariest parts, even more scary than Ravenholm, is getting back across the bridge while that helicopter is following you.
Because you don't have enough you don't have enough rockets to take it down until you get to the middle. In the middle, there's some rockets, and you can bring them down.
Oh, I missed that. I just kept running just because I wasn't looking. I'm just like, I need to get across this bridge fast.
In the middle, there's the ladder section outside on the little platform. There's 2 rockets.
Yeah,
that gives you 5. And with 5, you can take it down.
Gotcha.
This whole section, you move across. You're navigating into the tunnels of the train station, the train tracks, which leads to sand traps, which is the stopping point.
And that's where we saved, and then that's where we'll continue from.
So far, how you feeling about it?
I really like this game. It's incredible that I'm halfway through, and I already feel like, man, this is a really good first-person shooter campaign.
It's a great campaign, and we're about to get into some really cool stuff.
I can't wait to see what else I have played before and see like the kind of progenitor version of that in a way. Because it's like, you can argue something can be textbook, but I'm like, no, this wrote the textbook on how to do it.
No. Yeah, if this came out after a game that did something like this, then yeah, you would say it's following a pattern. But it made the pattern. And as someone who played it fairly close to when it came out, it was a big damn deal, dude. Like, just feeling like I traveled.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got to where I needed to be. I took, airboats and cars and climbed through dark, city streets and, ascended mines and traveled over, this, that, and the other. It feels very much like you're on a quest.
In a way, and this is a very high compliment I can give this game, is I feel like it makes every other first-person shooter campaign that I loved retroactively worse, because I'm like, wait a minute, you just did the things from Half-Life 2.
Yeah, it does.
You're just doing this thing again. I know it's because I'm looking at this like with fresh eyes and everything. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you were fresh and original, but it turns out you're just Half-Life 2 in disguise.
A lot of people looked at Half-Life 2 and went like, we got to up the game, because you can't do what we were doing before because Half-Life 2 exists. The one thing I will say is I never really loved Half-Life 2's shooting. I like the weapon design, but I don't like some of the shooting. And a lot of it's not until you start getting into the dual kind of philosophies on shooting, where you get the one side, you get the Call of Duty shooting, which is everything aimed down sights, and it's kind of pop and shoot, and it's just not super dynamic. And then we have kind of regressed away from that and got away from it and really kind of revamped things with like Doom 2016. That was like, no, let's go back to more fast-paced shooting, where it's not aim down sights, tactical shooting. It's more about circle strafing and stuff like that. Half-Life still has a lot of that, like Doom 3, Quake 4, this was before Quake 4, Quake 3 style shooting in it that definitely doesn't age as well, but I still think it's serviceable.
It reminds me of, not too much, but the shooting reminded me of like going back and playing Halo. Like, you're not aiming down sights, but you're also not like, there's a lot more jumping and like floatiness to like Halo's combat. This feels like a more grounded version of that.
I think that was always one of the things that kind of took me away from me a little bit, is Gordon not very quick, and he's not very mobile.
His sprint's very fast.
His sprint's very fast, but also with it being almost exclusively hit scan enemies that you're fighting, it becomes shoot them before they shoot you. Compared to like a Doom or something like that, where you have projectile-based enemies that you can do a lot of, dodging and sliding out of the way at the last second so the fireball don't hit you. And some of it's just the time. We got super hit. Shooters got super in the hit scan. And like the Call of Duties of the world made everything hit scan. And now we're getting away from it now, which is thank God. But it just never was my favorite part of Half-Life. But it's definitely serviceable. It's not bad. It's got some great weapons. I think it's got an amazing RPG with the way it tracks. Great shotgun. 357's one of my favorite guns. Just dropping guys with headshots. And then the pulse rifle has a great sound effect. That boom, 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 boom.
Yes. The regular assault rifle like destroys my sound bar because it's just like...
Yes,
like, as loud as possible.
It's got such a high rate of fire. It's like, it's almost grating. But the pulse rifle has like a grating sound, but in like a really cool sci-fi way.
Yes.
Where it's like...
Each bullet has a punch to it.
Yeah, it feels like almost like what I imagine a full version of the bolter in Warhammer, which is like the main gun in Warhammer 40,000. It's like I always picture those as having almost like a jarring, like it shakes your whole body when it shoots. The pulse rifle has something kind of similar to that. Like you imagine that Gordon's like whole body is shaking when he shoots it. It's just such a powerful punch. I love Half-Life 2. I love Half-Life 2 so much. And we're about to get into some really, really cool stuff.
I'm excited because this is a really good foundation for what I think will be an excellent second half of the campaign. Because again, like, I'm ready to see if I enjoyed the first half this much, I'm ready to see like an escalation of like, you learn the ropes. I feel like the weaponry for the most part is maxed out. There might be a couple things coming here or there, but I'm like, what else can we do here?
You've got pretty much everything at this point.
There's going to be some in-game weapon that's going to come that I'm going to like mow down like 10 dudes with, and it's going to be amazing. Probably. You're smiling. I can't read that smile. That's either you're exactly right or it's not what you think.
No, there's all sorts of cool stuff coming, dude.
Okay.
And the gravity gun keeps giving. That's my favorite thing. I encourage you in the next section to remember you have that gravity gun.
I will never forget I have that gravity gun.
There's all sorts of solutions that you can find with the gravity gun. When in doubt, the gravity gun will get you out a lot of stuff. I love the gravity gun. Oh, I love it. One of my top 5 favorite weapons in video games. Yeah, if you got like the double barrel in Doom, the gravity gun in Half-Life.
It's no portal gun, but it's close.
Sword. It's no portal gun, but that's the thing everyone always wanted, right?
Yeah.
A Half-Life game with a portal gun where you could put the portal down and then shoot through the portal. But that's just what Slipgate is. It's just Halo with portal guns. Let's take it home. stateofthesave@gmail.com. At State of the Save on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Tell your friends, 5-star reviews on iTunes, Spotify, all your favorite podcasting apps. If you do a review for us, we will appreciate it. Please send in all those letters, questions, this, that, and the other. Tell me how I'm wrong about the Halo show, how it's really a masterpiece of cinema.
I don't think anybody's going to bat for that.
I will say this, though. I don't like that show, but damn, I don't hate it as much as the Halo Reddit. Yeah, the Halo Reddit was brutal. It's a bad show.
We danced around it a bit, but did we say straight up next week we're finishing Half-Life 2?
Yeah, we're finishing Half-Life 2 next week, and we'll announce our next game.
Our next game.
It's very, very exciting. Our next game is a doozy. We got to do some retro game shopping this week to go find our next game.
The downside of looking for delisted video games
is going out to video game shops and be like, damn it, you got this game. And we can't go to the GameStop, man. We got to go to like the mom and pop video game exchange. As always, thank you for listening and stay safe out there.